What if the secret to success isn't massive action, but tiny, almost invisible changes you make every day? Introduce the big idea: tiny changes equals remarkable results. Welcome to Beyond the Cover, the place where we uncover powerful insights, one book at a time. Today, we begin a deep journey into one of the most impactful self-development books ever written, Atomic Habits by James Clear. This isn't just a book about productivity. It's a guide to mastering the small, invisible things you do every day, the things that silently shape your future. Atomic Habits doesn't promise overnight transformation. Instead, it offers a reliable system that can help you improve just a little, consistently, until you become the kind of person you never imagined possible. So settle in, because over the next few hours, we'll break down everything you need to know to reshape your habits, your mindset, and your results for life. Part 1. Why habits matter more than motivation. Let's start with a question. What did you do this morning? Did you scroll your phone? Make a cup of coffee? Hit snooze? And more importantly, did you choose those actions, or did they happen automatically? This is the hidden power of habits. So many of our daily decisions aren't really decisions at all. They're automatic responses, patterns, routines. In fact, studies suggest that more than 40% of our daily behavior is habitual. That means nearly half of what you do today you didn't consciously choose. You simply followed a loop. Now here's where it gets powerful. Habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. Just like money grows when you invest it over time, the effects of your habits multiply as you repeat them. Improving just 1% each day might not feel like much in the moment, but over a year, it makes you 37 times better. That's not theory. That's math. But the same is true in reverse. If you allow negative habits, skipping workouts, procrastinating, eating poorly, those decisions may feel small, but they compound in the opposite direction. Your outcomes are a lagging measure of your habits. Your weight is a lagging measure of your eating habits. Your knowledge is a lagging measure of your learning habits. Your net worth is a lagging measure of your financial habits. Your clutter is a lagging measure of your cleaning habits. What you repeat, you become. Big results come from small changes. Here's a story James Clear tells in the book. In 2003, the British cycling team was one of the worst in the world. But everything changed when they hired a performance director named Dave Brailsford. His strategy? Something called the aggregation of marginal gains. He believed if they could improve every small area of cycling by just 1%, the seat, the tires, the gear, the nutrition, even the massage gel, those tiny changes would stack up. And they did. Over the next decade, British cyclists dominated the Olympics and the Tour de France. All because of small improvements consistently applied. That's exactly what Atomic Habits teaches. The problem with big goals. Most people focus on goals. They say, I want to lose weight, or I want to make more money. But goals don't set you apart. Everyone wants the same things. Winners and losers often have the same goals. What separates them isn't the goal, it's the system they follow. Goals are about the outcome. Habits are about the process. If you want to change your life, don't start with the goal. Start with the system. That's what this book is really about. Building better systems so the results take care of themselves. Your identity is the real game. One of the most important ideas in Atomic Habits is this. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you want to become. Each time you work out, you cast a vote for being a healthy person. Each time you study, you cast a vote for being a focused person. Each time you avoid distractions, you cast a vote for being disciplined. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to vote enough times in the right direction until that identity becomes your reality. This is why habits are so powerful. They're not just actions. They're the foundation of who you are becoming. So as we begin this journey through Atomic Habits, remember this. Your life today is essentially the sum of your habits. If you want a different future, you don't need to set bigger goals. You need to build better habits. And that's exactly what we're going to do, step by step, law by law, system by system. In the next chapter, we'll explore the science of how habits work and how to take control of the loop that runs your life. But for now, just ask yourself this. What's one small change you could make today, one atomic habit, that your future self would thank you for? Let's begin. Part 2. The Science of Habits. Cue, Craving, Response, Reward. We've talked about why habits matter and the 4 laws of behavior change. But how do these habits actually form in the brain? What's the science behind your behavior, and how can you use it to take control of your life? In this section, we'll break down how habits form in the brain, why they become automatic, the psychology and biology behind habit loops, and how to rewire those loops for lasting change. Let's explore the fascinating science of habit formation. 1. Habits are brain shortcuts. Imagine your brain is like a computer, constantly processing information, making decisions, managing energy. Now imagine having to think consciously about every action: how to brush your teeth, tie your shoes, or start your car. It would be exhausting. So the brain creates shortcuts. These shortcuts are called habits. When a behavior is repeated enough times, the brain automates it, shifting it from your prefrontal cortex, conscious thought, to your basal ganglia, automatic behavior. You no longer need to think about it. It just happens. James Clear writes, "A habit is a behavior that has been repeated enough times to become automatic." This is why you can drive home from work and not remember the trip. Your brain went into autopilot, powered by habit. Automation saves energy, and the brain loves efficiency. 2. The 4-step habit loop. James Clear simplifies the science into a clear framework. Every habit follows a 4-step loop. Cue, the trigger that starts the habit. Craving, the desire or motivation behind it. Response, the actual behavior. Reward, the benefit you receive. Let's break this down. 1. Cue, the trigger. Every habit begins with a cue, something that catches your attention. It could be a time of day, a specific location, an emotional state, the presence of someone else, or an immediately preceding action. Examples: you see your phone light up, cue. You walk into the kitchen, cue. You feel bored or stressed, cue. Your brain constantly scans your environment for cues that predict rewards. 2. Craving, the motivation. The cue triggers a craving, a desire for a change in your internal state. But you're not craving the action itself. You're craving the feeling it gives you. You don't crave brushing your teeth. You crave a clean mouth. You don't crave scrolling Instagram. You crave distraction or connection. You don't crave smoking. You crave stress relief. Understanding cravings is key to changing habits, because habits live and die based on what we want. 3. Response, the behavior. The 3rd step is the response, the actual habit you perform. It could be a thought, a physical action, or both. Whether or not you respond depends on your motivation and ability. If the behavior requires too much effort, you won't do it. If it's too difficult, your brain will look for an easier path. This is why simplicity is crucial in habit formation. 4. Reward, the outcome. Finally comes the reward, the payoff. This could be pleasure, relief, satisfaction, or solving a problem. Rewards serve 2 purposes. They satisfy your craving. They teach your brain that this loop is worth repeating. Over time, your brain begins to associate the cue with the reward, even before you act. This is how habits become hardwired. 3. The habit loop in action. Let's look at a full example. Scenario: you come home from work feeling tired and stressed. Cue: you walk into the living room and see the couch. Craving: you want to relax and feel better. Response: you grab the TV remote and start binge watching. Reward: your stress melts away temporarily. Do this enough times, and the habit loop becomes automatic. Now, every time you walk into the room, your brain expects the reward and triggers the craving. The solution? Keep the loop, but change the response. Same cue, same craving, different response, better reward. Instead of TV, maybe you stretch for 5 minutes, take a walk, or journal. Anything that provides relaxation without sabotage. 4. The role of dopamine. Let's talk brain chemistry. One of the key players in habit formation is dopamine, the feel-good neurotransmitter. But here's what's fascinating. Dopamine doesn't just spike when you get a reward. It actually spikes in anticipation of the reward. In other words, it's the craving, not the fulfillment, that drives the behavior. This is why cues are so powerful. Your brain releases dopamine when it sees a fast food logo, a cigarette pack, a message notification. It prepares you for pleasure and urges you to act. This is also why temptation is hard to resist. The brain is already flooding your system with motivation before you even make a choice. But this same system can work in your favor. If you create positive cues like a yoga mat on the floor or a to-do list with checkboxes, your brain will crave the productive response. Control the cue, and you control the craving. 5. Habit formation timeline. How long does it take to form a new habit? Not 21 days. Not 30 days. A study published in the European Journal of Social Psychology found that, on average, it takes 66 days for a habit to become automatic. And even then, it depends on the difficulty of the behavior, the frequency of repetition, the environment. The truth? Habit formation is a process, not a deadline. Instead of asking, "How long will it take?" ask, "How many times can I repeat this?" Because repetition, not time, builds habits. 6. Identity and neural pathways. Every time you repeat a habit, you strengthen a neural pathway in your brain. Think of it like walking through tall grass. The first time, it's tough. The second time, it's easier. Eventually, you create a clear path. This is neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself. But habits don't just change behavior. They change how you see yourself. When you go to the gym 3 times a week, you start to think, "I'm the kind of person who works out." When you write every morning, you think, "I'm a writer." And once your identity shifts, your behavior follows naturally. This is why James Clear says, "The real reason habits matter is because they become evidence of the type of person you believe you are." 7. Breaking bad habits. The inverted loop. Bad habits follow the same loop: cue, craving, response, reward. So, how do you break them? By inverting the system. Make the cue invisible. Make the craving unattractive. Make the response difficult. Make the reward unsatisfying. Example, you want to stop snacking late at night. Hide the snacks, cue becomes invisible. Remind yourself of the negative health impact, craving becomes unattractive. Keep snacks in hard-to-reach places, response becomes difficult. Track your energy and health daily, no reward from snacking. You can't erase the habit loop, but you can reprogram it. 8. Summary. How to use the science. Let's bring it all together. The science of habit formation is clear. Your brain craves automation. Cues trigger cravings. Repetition strengthens neural pathways. Dopamine drives anticipation. Identity is reinforced by action. To build a good habit, use clear cues. Design positive cravings. Make actions easy. Track satisfying rewards. To break a bad habit, remove the cue. Reframe the craving. Increase friction. Make outcomes feel negative. Control the loop, and you control your life. Narrator. So now you understand what happens inside the brain when a habit is formed. You're not just reacting to life. You're following loops your brain has built over years. But the best part? You can rebuild those loops. You can write new code. You can become the architect of your habits and your future. This isn't just science. It's your strategy. And it begins with one small step. Coming up next, we'll explore real-world stories of people who've done exactly that and how you can follow their path. Let's continue. Part 3. The 4 laws explained in depth. In this chapter of Atomic Habits, we go beyond just knowing why habits matter. We break down how to build good habits and break bad ones, step by step, using a system backed by psychology and proven by real-life results. James Clear calls it the 4 laws of behavior change. These are the 4 levers that control every habit you've ever formed and every habit you will form. Let's walk through each law in depth, with practical strategies and examples, so you can start building habits that last. Overview. The 4 laws of behavior change. James Clear's system is based on one fundamental insight. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. The system? It's built on 4 laws. Make it obvious. Make it attractive. Make it easy.
Make it satisfying.
These are the steps to build good habits. To break a bad habit, you simply invert them. Make it invisible. Make it unattractive. Make it difficult. Make it unsatisfying. Let's now explore each law in detail and how to apply it. Law 1. Make it obvious. Every habit begins with a cue, a trigger that tells your brain to start the behavior. But most of us don't even realize what cues are shaping our actions. Habits become automatic, subconscious, hidden in plain sight. The first step to change? Awareness. Strategy 1. Habit stacking. Habit stacking is a simple formula. After current habit, I will new habit. Examples. After I pour my morning coffee, I will write 1 sentence in my journal. After I take off my work shoes, I will change into workout clothes. After I brush my teeth, I will meditate for 2 minutes. This strategy ties your new habit to an existing routine, creating a visible cue. It works because your brain already recognizes the first habit as a reliable anchor. Strategy 2. Implementation intention. People who write down when and where they will perform a habit are far more likely to follow through. Try this. I will behavior at time in a location. Instead of vague intentions like, I'll start reading more, say, I will read 10 pages at 9 p.m. in my bedroom. Be specific. Clarity beats motivation. Strategy 3. Design your environment. If your environment doesn't support your goals, your willpower will lose. Want to drink more water? Put a bottle on your desk. Want to stop scrolling? Leave your phone in another room. Want to write more? Keep a notebook open on your table. As James Clear says, environment is the invisible hand that shapes human behavior. If you want better habits, create a space that makes the cue obvious. Law 2. Make it attractive. The second step is craving, the desire behind every habit. You don't just want to work out. You want the feeling it gives you. You don't just want to study. You want the pride or reward it leads to. So, how do we make good habits more appealing? Strategy 1. Temptation bundling. Pair something you want to do with something you need to do. I will only watch Netflix while I'm on the treadmill. I will only check Instagram after I complete my to-do list. This taps into your natural desire and connects it with positive behavior. Strategy 2. Join a culture where your desired habit is the norm. We imitate the habits of 3 groups: the close, family, and friends; the many, social groups and trends; the powerful, those we admire. If you surround yourself with people who read, exercise, build businesses, you're far more likely to do the same. Behavior is contagious. Choose your community wisely. Strategy 3. Reframe your habits. Instead of saying, I have to work out, say, I get to move and build strength. Instead of, I have to wake up early, say, I'm becoming the kind of person who starts strong. Your language shapes your identity, and your identity shapes your habits. Law 3. Make it easy. If a habit is difficult, it won't stick. Your brain is designed to choose the path of least resistance. It's not about laziness. It's about efficiency. That's why the third law is all about removing friction. Strategy 1. Reduce the number of steps. Want to eat healthier? Pre-cut your vegetables and leave them visible. Want to play guitar more? Keep it out of the case, ready to grab. The easier a habit is to start, the more likely it is to happen. Strategy 2. Use the 2-minute rule. When you start a new habit, it should take less than 2 minutes to do. Instead of, I will run 5 miles, say, I will put on my running shoes. Instead of, I'll write a novel, say, I will open my laptop and write 1 sentence.
Why?
Because starting is the hardest part. The 2-minute rule lowers the barrier and builds momentum. Strategy 3. Automate the habit. The best habits remove decision-making altogether. Use auto-savings to invest money every month. Set automatic reminders to stretch or take breaks. Use apps to block distractions during work hours. What you automate, you don't need to remember. And what you don't need to remember becomes effortless. Law 4. Make it satisfying. Your brain learns best through immediate rewards, but many good habits have delayed benefits. Exercise leads to long-term fitness. Studying leads to future success. Saving money leads to future freedom. To make a habit stick, you need to bring the reward into the present. Strategy 1. Use habit trackers. There's something satisfying about checking a box, crossing a day off a calendar, or watching your streak grow. It gives your brain a quick hit of success. Apps like Habitica, Streaks, or even a simple notebook can do this. James Clear says, "Don't break the chain. Keep the streak alive." Strategy 2. Use Insta rewards. Pair your habit with something enjoyable right away. After journaling, enjoy your favorite tea. After cleaning, play your favorite song. After a workout, relax with a warm shower. Make the behavior itself feel like a win, not a chore. Strategy 3. Don't miss twice. Failure happens. You'll skip a workout, miss a writing session. That's okay. But make a rule. Never miss twice. One missed day is a mistake. 2 missed days is the start of a new habit, the wrong one. Reversing the laws. Breaking bad habits. To break a bad habit, reverse each law. Make it invisible. Remove cues. Don't rely on willpower. Make it unattractive. Reframe the craving. Focus on the cost. Make it difficult. Add friction. Make it hard to do. Make it unsatisfying. Add immediate consequences. Use accountability. Example. Want to stop snacking? Don't buy junk food. Invisible cue. Remind yourself how sluggish it makes you feel. Unattractive. Keep snacks in hard-to-reach places. Difficult. Track your energy crashes. Unsatisfying. Use the laws, forward or backward, to shape your future. Final thoughts. Habits are not destiny. They're not fixed. They're not permanent. They are systems, and systems can be redesigned. When you understand the 4 laws, make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, make it satisfying. You have the blueprint to rebuild your life, one small habit at a time. Remember, every action you take is a vote for the type of person you want to become. So vote wisely, cast those votes daily, and build the life you deserve from the inside out. Narrator. In the next chapter, we'll explore real-world examples, how athletes, CEOs, artists, and everyday people use these 4 laws to change their lives.
So stay tuned.
Part 4. Identity change and mindset shifts. So far in Atomic Habits, we've explored the mechanics of building better habits. But now we're going to explore something even more powerful, something that sits beneath every goal, every action, every outcome. Your identity. This is where true change begins. If you want to make real, lasting transformation in your life, it's not enough to change what you do. You must change who you believe you are. Let's begin. The real reason habits matter. Identity. James Clear writes, "Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become." This one sentence changes everything. Most people try to change their habits by starting with outcomes. They set goals like, I want to lose weight. I want to be more productive. I want to save more money. These are results, external changes. But results are the surface. Beneath results lie your processes, your systems and habits. And beneath those lies your identity, your beliefs, your self-image, your mindset. So instead of focusing on what you want to achieve, focus on who you want to become. I want to become a healthy person. I want to become a focused, productive creator. I want to become someone who respects money. Why does this shift matter? Because identity drives behavior. The 3 layers of behavior change. Clear explains that behavior change happens at 3 levels. Outcomes, the results you want. Processes, the habits you follow. Identity, the beliefs you hold. Most people try to change by starting with outcomes. But real change starts with identity. Think about this. If you believe, I'm terrible with money, then no matter how many budgeting apps you try, you'll sabotage yourself eventually, because your actions will always align with your beliefs. But if you begin to say, I'm becoming someone who respects and manages money wisely, you will naturally begin to act in ways that support that identity. The same goes for health, relationships, work, creativity, and discipline.
How identity shapes habits. Let's look at how this works. Imagine two people trying to quit smoking. When offered a cigarette, the first says, "No thanks, I'm trying to quit." The second says, "No thanks, I'm not a smoker." See the difference? The first person still identifies as a smoker, someone who's resisting temptation. The second person has already shifted their identity. They no longer see themselves that way. That shift from action to identity is what makes the habit sustainable. Reinforcing identity through action. Now here's the key idea. Identity is not something you simply decide. It's something you build, one small habit at a time. Every time you go for a run, you're becoming a runner. Every time you write a page, you're becoming a writer. Every time you resist a distraction, you're becoming focused. The votes may be small, but over time, they accumulate. James Clear writes, "The more you repeat a behavior, the more you reinforce the identity associated with that behavior." In other words, habits don't just reflect who you are, they shape who you become. How to shift your identity. Let's walk through how to intentionally shift your identity using habits. Step 1. Decide the person you want to become. This isn't about external goals. Ask yourself, who do I want to be? What type of person achieves the results I want? If your goal is to write a book, your new identity might be, "I'm a disciplined and creative writer." If your goal is to lose weight, "I'm the kind of person who values my health." Be clear, be specific. Your identity is your compass. Step 2. Prove it to yourself with small wins. Don't wait for a big transformation. Start casting small votes today. Want to become a reader? Read 1 page. Want to become a meditator? Meditate for 1 minute. Want to become an entrepreneur? Write one idea down. You don't need to be perfect. You just need proof. The more actions you take that align with your desired identity, the more you believe it. Step 3. Let identity shape future actions. Once you see yourself as a certain kind of person, you naturally ask, what would a healthy person do in this situation? What would a great leader do right now? What would a focused student do today? This creates a feedback loop. Identity leads to actions. Actions reinforce identity. This loop is the foundation of long-term success. Why identity-based habits work better than goal-based habits. Let's compare the two. Goal-based habits focus on outcomes. I want to lose 10 kilograms. I want to write a book. I want to run a marathon. The problem? Once you hit the goal, motivation often disappears. If you fail, you feel like a failure. You stay attached to the outcome. But identity-based habits focus on becoming. I'm someone who never misses a workout. I'm a writer who writes every day. I'm a runner who enjoys moving. These habits are sustainable. They're part of who you are, not just something you do for a few weeks. You don't need motivation when it becomes your identity. Mindset shifts for lasting change. Here are some essential mindset shifts inspired by Atomic Habits. 1. Shift from outcome to identity. Don't chase results. Build identity. Ask, who do I want to become? What would that person do daily? 2. Shift from motivation to systems. Motivation is unreliable. Systems are consistent. Set up your environment, routines, and triggers to support the identity you're building. 3. Shift from perfection to progress. You don't need to be flawless. You just need to vote consistently. A missed day doesn't erase your identity, but showing up again reinforces it. 4. Shift from big change to tiny wins. Don't try to change everything at once. Focus on the 1% improvements, the tiny wins, the repeatable actions. Big results come from small steps, repeated consistently. 5. Shift from have to want to. Don't say, I have to work out. Say, I'm the kind of person who enjoys staying active. Language matters. Your words create your world. Final thoughts. Become the type of person. As James Clear says, the goal is not to read a book. The goal is to become a reader. The goal is not to run a marathon. The goal is to become a runner. The goal is not to write a book. The goal is to become a writer. Focus on identity, and everything else will follow. So today, ask yourself, who do you want to become? And what's one small vote you can cast today to support that identity? Change doesn't happen all at once. It happens one tiny win at a time, until your new identity becomes your new normal. Narrator, in the next section of this summary, we'll look at the science behind how habits are actually formed, how your brain wires new behaviors, and how you can use that to your advantage. Until then, stay focused, stay consistent, and keep casting those votes. Part 5, Real-World Examples, Case Studies. We've now seen how powerful habits can be, and how even small, consistent actions can shape our identity and future. But theory alone isn't enough. To truly grasp how atomic habits works, we need to see it in action, in the real world, in the lives of real people and organizations. So in this section, we'll explore some of the most powerful real-world examples and case studies James Clear uses, and break down exactly what they teach us. Example 1. The British cycling team, small wins, big gains. For over 100 years, British cycling was a disaster. From 1908 to 2003, they won just one Olympic gold medal. No Tour de France wins. Bike manufacturers didn't even want to sell them gear, afraid it would hurt their image. But then in 2003, they hired a new coach, Dave Brailsford. He brought in a philosophy he called the aggregation of marginal gains. His idea? Don't try to make one huge improvement. Instead, improve everything you can by just 1%. So they improved the bike seats for more comfort, the fabric of the racing suits for better aerodynamics, the pillows they slept on for better recovery, even taught riders how to wash hands properly to reduce illness. Each change was tiny, but together, they created a system of continual improvement. The result? 5 years later, they dominated the 2008 Olympics. In 2012, they crushed it again, winning 7 out of 10 gold medals. From 2012 to 2017, British cyclists won 5 Tour de France titles, all from the power of small habits, done consistently. Lesson: tiny changes, when compounded, lead to extraordinary results. This is the essence of atomic habits. Example 2, Jerry Seinfeld, don't break the chain. Jerry Seinfeld, one of the world's most successful comedians, once shared his productivity method with a young writer. He said, "The way to become a better comic is to write better jokes. And the way to write better jokes is to write every day." So here's what he did. He bought a big wall calendar. Every day he wrote. He put a big red X on the date. After a few days, there was a chain of excess, and his only job became simple. Don't break the chain. This method isn't about perfection. It's about consistency, casting small votes for your identity. Lesson: build streaks. Focus on momentum, not intensity. You don't need to be a genius. You just need to keep the chain going. Example 3. Japanese train stations, the habit of saying, "I'm about to." In Japan, train conductors use a method called pointing and calling. Instead of silently checking things, they say things out loud like, "Signal is green. Speed is 80 kilometers per hour. Crossing is clear." And as they say it, they physically point at the object. This small habit significantly reduces errors and accidents by making conductors more aware of their actions. A study showed it cut mistakes by nearly 85% and accidents by 30%. Lesson: make your habits conscious before they become automatic. By speaking actions out loud or writing them down, you train your brain to notice what it's doing. Example 4. Stephen King daily writing habit. Stephen King is one of the most prolific authors in history. His secret? He writes every single day, including birthdays and holidays. His goal is 2,000 words a day, no matter what. He's not waiting for inspiration. He's honoring the system, not the outcome. Even on days he doesn't feel like writing, he shows up, because that's who he is, a writer. Lesson: professionals stick to the schedule. Amateurs wait for inspiration. When you commit to a system, a routine, the results take care of themselves. Example 5. The 2-minute rule, the story of the gym habit. One of James Clear's readers wanted to get in shape, but he knew motivation would fade. So he built a rule: go to the gym every day, but stay only for 2 minutes. Yes, just 2 minutes. Most people would laugh at that, but for him, it worked. Why? He wasn't trying to be fit. He was trying to become the kind of person who doesn't miss a workout. Once the habit of showing up was built, the rest followed naturally. Eventually, he started working out longer, but by then it was automatic. Lesson: first, master the art of showing up. Don't focus on the results. Focus on the rhythm. Example 6. The paperclip strategy, making progress visible. A young stockbroker kept 2 jars on his desk. One jar had 120 paper clips. The other was empty. Every time he made a sales call, he moved one paper clip from one jar to the other. By the end of the day, all the clips had moved, and over time, so did his career. He became one of the top performers in his firm. The secret? Visual feedback. When you can see your progress, you're more likely to keep going. Lesson: track your habits visually. Calendars, jars, charts, stickers. Make progress satisfying and visible. Example 7. Netflix, building habits into product. Let's take a look at a company example. Netflix doesn't just rely on great content. It engineers habits. Autoplay makes you binge. Personalized recommendations make you return. Seamless interface removes friction. They followed the 4 laws of behavior change. Make it obvious. Make it attractive. Make it easy. Make it satisfying. As a result, watching becomes habitual. Lesson: your habits are often shaped by design. Use this lesson to design your own environment for better behavior, bringing it all together. Every example we've seen, whether it's Olympic cyclists, best-selling authors, or trained conductors, has one thing in common. They didn't succeed because of a one-time change. They succeeded because of systematic habits, applied daily. Narrator: the real world is full of habits, good and bad. The key is to build systems that work for you, not against you. So here's your challenge. What's your version of the paperclip strategy? What's the 2-minute version of your goal? What daily streak could you start today? Remember, you don't need a breakthrough. You need to show up consistently with small, smart actions. Because habits aren't just a tool. They are the invisible architecture of your future. Next up, we'll explore how you can build better habits even in difficult environments and busy lives, and how to make new habits stick for life. Until then, stay disciplined, stay curious, and keep showing up. Part 6: Bad Habits and How to Break Them. We've talked about how to build good habits. But what about the other side? What about the habits that hold us back? The ones we fall into without realizing. Habits like procrastination, junk food, doom scrolling, overspending, or checking our phones every few minutes. Today, we're going deep into the psychology of bad habits, and more importantly, how to break them. James Clear says, "You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems." So if you want to eliminate bad habits, you don't need more willpower. You need a better system. Let's break it down. The real reason bad habits stick. Here's a truth most people don't want to admit. Bad habits are rewarding, at least in the short term. Junk food gives instant pleasure. Scrolling numbs stress. Skipping the gym feels like relief. Avoiding hard work brings comfort. Our brain is built to seek immediate rewards, even if the consequences are long-term pain. James Clear explains, the cost of your good habits is in the present. The cost of your bad habits is in the future. That's why it's easier to watch Netflix than read a book. To break bad habits, we must flip the script, inverting the 4 laws of behavior change. To build good habits, we follow these 4 laws. Make it obvious. Make it attractive. Make it easy. Make it satisfying. To break a bad habit, we do the opposite. Make it invisible. Make it unattractive. Make it difficult. Make it unsatisfying. Let's go through them one by one, with real-life examples you can use today. 1. Make it invisible. Out of sight, out of mind. Many habits start with a visual cue. If you see chips on the counter, you'll eat them. If you see your phone on your desk, you'll pick it up. Remove the cue, and you remove the trigger. Example: hide junk food in the top cabinet. Or, don't bring it into the house. Move your phone out of your bedroom while you sleep. Log out of social media apps and delete shortcuts. Principle: you can't crave what you don't see. If you want to stop a habit, Reduce the exposure that starts it. 2. Make it unattractive. Change how you think about the habit. Bad habits often come with a mental story. I deserve this. I'll just do it once. This helps me relax. Reframe that story. Example, instead of, I need sugar to feel good, tell yourself, sugar drains my energy and steals my focus. Instead of skipping the gym gives me rest, say, skipping reinforces my identity as someone who avoids hard things. The goal is to highlight the cost, not the comfort. Make the habit feel like a threat, not a reward. 3. Make it difficult. Increase friction. Add steps. Make the habit harder to start. We tend to take the path of least resistance. That's why most bad habits are effortless. So make them harder. Example, use a site blocker to lock distracting websites. Add a passcode or two-factor login to social media apps. Put your TV remote in another room. Turn your phone to grayscale. Research shows this reduces app usage. Make every step toward the habit slower, heavier, and more annoying. 4. Make it unsatisfying. Introduce immediate consequences. Here's the core problem. Bad habits are instantly rewarding. Good habits often have delayed rewards. So, to break a bad habit, you need to make it feel immediately painful. Strategies. Accountability partner. Tell someone your habit goal and report progress daily. Financial penalty. Use an app like Stick to put real money on the line. Habit contract. Write down the habit you want to avoid and the punishment if you break it. The key is to feel the cost now, not later. A real example, the social media habit. Let's say you want to stop scrolling Instagram every 10 minutes. Here's how to break that down. Make it invisible. Delete the app from your phone. Make it unattractive. Reflect on how it steals your time and self-esteem. Make it difficult. Log out, add a long password, or install a blocker. Make it unsatisfying. Set a rule. Every time you check it, you owe a friend 100 Indian rupees. You just reversed the 4 laws and gave your brain fewer reasons to continue the loop. How to handle cravings. James Clear explains that cravings come from associations. You don't crave the cigarette. You crave the relief from stress. You don't crave the phone. You crave escape or validation. To kill the craving, find a healthier substitute that gives you the same feeling. Craving stimulation? Take a 5-minute walk. Craving comfort? Try journaling. Craving reward? Listen to one song after a work sprint. You're not fighting the feeling. You're redirecting it. Identity still matters. Here's the twist. Even when breaking bad habits, identity plays a role. Instead of saying, I'm trying to stop smoking, say, I'm not a smoker. Why? Because people act in alignment with their identity. If you believe you're a healthy, disciplined, focused person, you'll start making choices that reflect that naturally. So build the identity you want to protect. Don't aim for perfection. Aim for consistency. Breaking a habit doesn't mean you'll never mess up again. You will. James Clear calls this the second mistake trap. The first mistake is slipping. The second is telling yourself, well, I've already failed. Might as well quit. Don't let one slip become a slide. Get back on track. One decision is all it takes to realign. Closing thoughts. You're not broken. Your system is. If you struggle with bad habits, it's not because you're weak or lazy. It's because your environment is optimized for short-term pleasure. So shift the system. Make the bad habits invisible, unattractive, difficult, unsatisfying, and above all, forgive yourself for the past. Today is a vote for the kind of person you want to become. Narrator, what's one bad habit you're going to break this month? Write it down. Invert the 4 laws. Start small. And most of all, be consistent. Because when you break the chains of bad habits, you unlock the future you've been trying to reach. Part 7 Advanced Tactics plus FAQs. So far, you've learned why habits matter. You've mastered the 4 laws. You know how to break bad habits. You've seen how identity and mindset shape everything. Now, it's time for the final part of our journey. Advanced Tactics plus frequently asked questions. This is where we fine-tune your system. These are the tools that go beyond theory into real-world application, customization, and long-term consistency. Let's begin. 1. How long does it take to build a habit? This is probably the most common question of all. The popular myth says 21 days. Some say 30. Others say 66. But James Clear says, the honest answer is, it doesn't matter. What matters is frequency, not time. Repetition is the real key. A habit is formed not by how many days have passed, but by how many repetitions you complete. So instead of asking, how long will it take? Ask, how many reps can I get in this month? Focus on action. Let identity and outcome follow. 2. What if I miss a day? This one is huge. And here's the truth. Missing once is a mistake. Missing twice is the start of a new habit. James Clear warns us of the second mistake trap. 1 day skipped is human. 2 days skipped becomes a new pattern. So don't chase perfection. Chase consistency. Build the skill of returning. Quickly. 3. What's the best time to build a habit? Short answer. The best time is the time you'll stick to. There's no magic in 5 a.m. or midnight or after lunch. What matters is consistency and context. But here's a powerful tip. Attach the new habit to an existing one. This is called habit stacking. Example, after I brush my teeth, I'll meditate for 1 minute. After I drink my morning coffee, I'll journal 1 sentence. After I close my laptop at night, I'll read 1 page. Time matters less than anchor points. Your habits become easier when they piggyback on what already exists. For what if my environment is full of triggers? Bad environments are the biggest threat to good habits. James Clear says, environment is the invisible hand that shapes human behavior. If your fridge is full of soda, you'll drink it. If your phone is in your hand, you'll scroll. If your bed is next to your workspace, you'll sleep more than work. Change your environment to change your behavior. Remove friction from good habits. Add friction to bad ones. Make your space a reflection of who you want to become. Design beats discipline. 5. What if I don't see results? This is where most people give up. They start a new routine. They stay consistent for a few weeks. And then nothing. No big changes. No big wins. So they quit. But James Clear introduces a concept of the plateau of latent potential. Imagine an ice cube sitting in a room. At 25 degrees, nothing. At 27 degrees, nothing. At 31 degrees, still nothing. At 32 degrees, suddenly it melts. Was the work at 25 to 31 degrees wasted? Not at all. Your results lag behind your effort. Success is not linear. It's delayed. But when it comes, it compounds fast. Trust the process. Stick with the system. Your breakthrough might be closer than you think. 6. Can I build multiple habits at once? You can, but with a warning. Focus is a force multiplier. When you try to change 10 habits at once, you dilute your energy. But when you go deep on 1 to 2 key habits, everything else improves around them. Start with keystone habits, the ones that cause ripple effects. Examples: exercise improves energy, sleep, focus. Journaling increases clarity, emotional regulation. Reading expands mindset, vocabulary, confidence. Build momentum with 1 habit, then stack more on top. 7. Should I track my habits? Tracking habits is powerful, but not required. Why it helps? Makes progress visible. Reinforces identity. Triggers dopamine from small wins. Increases self-awareness. Even a simple habit tracker, a calendar, a notebook, or a checkmark app can double your consistency. But remember, tracking is a tool, not the goal. If it motivates you, use it. If it adds stress, drop it. 8. What if I'm not motivated? James Clear flips the question. You do not rise to the level of motivation. You fall to the level of your systems. Waiting for motivation is like waiting for perfect weather. Discipline comes from environment, not emotion. Instead of asking, how do I get motivated? Ask, how can I make this easier to start? How can I lower resistance? How can I start with just 2 minutes? Motion creates motivation, not the other way around. 9. How do I know if it's working? Simple. Are you becoming the person you want to be? That's the ultimate measure. You might not see weight loss yet. You might not be earning more yet. You might not feel wildly productive yet. But are you showing up more consistently? Thinking more clearly? Behaving in alignment with your values? If yes, then it's working. Progress is identity shift over time. 10. What happens after I reach my goal? Let's say your habit helped you lose weight, or double your income, or read 50 books in a year. Now what? The answer is this. You build a system that supports your identity for life. The goal is never the goal. The goal is the process that keeps you aligned with who you want to be. James Clear says, "The purpose of setting goals is to win the game. The purpose of building systems is to continue playing the game. Goals are temporary. Habits are permanent. So keep playing." Final takeaway. You now have everything you need. The foundation, the framework, the failures, the fixes, the fine-tuning. The only thing left is to start. You don't need motivation. You don't need to feel ready. You don't need permission. You just need to act. And when you do, even just 1% better every day, you'll watch your life transform in ways that feel effortless because they are automatic. That's the power of Atomic Habits. Part 8 Action Plan plus Final Lessons. You've now walked through the full framework of Atomic Habits. We've explored the science, the systems, the stories, and the strategy behind lasting behavior change. But knowledge alone isn't transformation. Execution is. So in this final section, we'll distill everything into a simple, clear action plan you can start using today. Follow this. And you won't just read the book, you'll live it. Part 1, your 5-step Atomic Habits action plan. 1. Choose your identity. Before you think about what habit to build, ask, who do I want to become? This is your identity goal. Examples. I want to become a disciplined person. I want to be a calm parent. I want to be a reader. I want to be someone who never misses a workout. Write it down. Make it your North Star. Because every small action you take will be a vote for or against that identity. 2. Select one keystone habit. Don't overwhelm yourself with 10 habits. Start with just one, but choose it carefully. A keystone habit is one that creates a ripple effect. Examples. Daily exercise, journaling, meditation, reading, go to bed early. Pick a habit that aligns with the identity you just chose, and start small. 3. Use the 4 laws of behavior change. Now, design your habit using the 4 laws. Make it obvious. Set a clear time and location. I'll journal at 8 p.m. at my desk. Use visual cues. Keep your tools in sight. Make it attractive. Pair it with something enjoyable. I'll listen to relaxing music while I stretch. Use habit stacking. After I brush my teeth, I'll meditate. Make it easy. Reduce the habit to 2 minutes. Remove friction and keep it simple. Make it satisfying. Use a habit tracker. Celebrate the win, no matter how small. These 4 laws turn effort into automatic behavior. 4. Master the art of showing up. Forget perfection. Forget motivation. Just show up every day, even if only for 2 minutes. This builds the muscle of consistency. And remember, you don't need to be perfect. You just need to never stop. Missing once is okay. Missing twice is the start of a new habit in the wrong direction. So never miss twice. 5. Review, reflect, and adjust. Every week, ask yourself, did I follow through? What made it easier or harder? How can I improve the environment or timing? Reflection turns small experiments into lasting habits. Don't just act. Adapt. Part 2. Final lessons from Atomic Habits. 1. Systems over goals. Goals are helpful for direction, but systems are what drive progress. You don't rise to your goals. You fall to your systems. So instead of obsessing over outcomes, build a daily process that makes success inevitable. 2. Be patient. Compounding is invisible at first. Small habits often feel pointless in the beginning. Reading 1 page, skipping 1 soda, taking 1 walk. But over time, they compound. And just like money, behavior compounds too. Trust the long game. 3. Your environment is your silent coach. Don't rely on willpower. Change your surroundings. Keep healthy food visible. Put your phone out of reach. Leave your workout clothes next to your bed. Place your book on your pillow. Make the good path easy. Make the bad path harder. 4. Identity is reinforced by repetition. You don't need to believe in yourself. You just need to act like the person you want to become. Every time you show up, you cast a vote. And over time, your identity changes. Want to be a runner? Run, even for 2 minutes. Want to be a writer? Write 1 paragraph. Want to be focused? Sit for 3 minutes and breathe. Behavior shapes identity, not the other way around. 5. Fall in love with the boring stuff. Success isn't glamorous. It's the quiet repetition of small habits, daily, especially when it's boring. James Clear reminds us, the greatest threat to success is not failure, it's boredom. So when it gets boring, don't quit. That's when you're close to mastery. Your Atomic Habits Challenge. Here's your final challenge. Pick one identity. Choose one habit. Apply the 4 laws. Track it for 30 days. Never miss twice. Reflect weekly. Adjust monthly. Then repeat. This is a cycle of mastery. Final words. You don't need radical change. You need consistency in small things. Atomic habits work, not because they're big, but because they're small enough to stick. So begin today. 1 step, 1 vote, 1 habit. And when you look back 6 months from now, you'll see something powerful. Not just a new routine, but a new version of you. Thank you for joining us at Beyond the Cover. Now, go live what you've learned.